Morning.
Ottawa is actually putting together a pretty good record. They're a very strong team, I guess, in their last 17 games against teams that aren't Edmonton. They're 9-5-3. So how do you
Yeah.
explain the way that you guys have had so much success against the Senators?
I don't know. It's hard to. We just a couple games we've got a pretty big lead on them, and I don't know. Just the games have gone different ways. But you watch them play now. They're a hard-working team. It's going to be a tough game for us. Really tough.
I was wondering, is there a concern that these guys are due, or that the law of averages might catch up with you at some point?
Nah, you know what? We go into every game. We plan to try to win, and you recognize your opponent, whether it's Toronto or Montreal or Winnipeg or Ottawa, whoever it is. You go in, and you try to have a plan to try to win, and you got to go in and play well. If you're gonna, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you don't play well, you're not going to win. If you play well, you give yourself a chance, and that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow.
Post Media.
Dave, I just want to ask you about Alex Stalock. Is there any chance that he might see some playing time in the next 2 games?
We'll see. He's working hard to get back up to speed, and I'll have a conversation with Swartzy, but right now there's no plans of it.
And I don't want to get you fined here, but there's a couple of 2 or 3 almost blatant penalties that we missed last night. How do you kind of play through that frustration and then not let the guys get frustrated when McDavid gets taken down, gets taken down the corner, and things like that?
It is frustrating to watch, and especially McDavid, and it's just there's so many penalties on him that don't get called, but it is what it is. You just have to deal with it and move on.
You're heading into the stretch drive now, and you made mention of it earlier. There were some things that you wanted to clean up in your club's game as you head down the stretch. What are some of the focal points with 17 left that you guys want to hammer home?
It's too many to mention. Got lots.
The record says it's not that bad. There's
a lot. You can go anywhere from individual players to get them up and running to structure to special teams to there's a lot of things that you're trying to tweak, and you're still you're kind of evaluating. You try some different things here and there just subtly to see how they work, and just gives you a little bit of something to put in the bank. If a situation comes up, you might have to go to a different look or try a different player in a different situation. So all those things, you're just trying to evaluate how your team is doing in all the different parts of the game, and when you get into a certain game, you can use that to your advantage, or you try to make sure it's not a weakness.
Sure. Do you feel you're trending up right now, or holding level, or how would you trajectory?
Well, you always feel like you're trending up because you hope your team is continuing to build, but sometimes that trend is you're really taking steps forward in a hurry, and then other times you're just kind of taking short steps and trying to work through it. With the schedule that we've had here, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag because it's been hard finding kind of a rhythm to jump into. So it's funny talking to our players like that. That's what they feel like. It's a little bit herky-jerky right now, and now we got an extra game in this road trip, and you got a back-to-back, so we're dealing with that stuff, but we're still trying to push our game forward. So you take what's in front of you, and hopefully every game there's things that you can grab out of it and use as a positive, and you're always fixing some things that you think need to be fixed. So that's kind of the trend you're always on. Sometimes you'd like to see it go quicker, but sometimes it just is what it is. You gotta work through things.
Thanks.
Derek Pandy.
Dave, with the trade deadline coming up here on Monday, how much discussion is there between you and Ken talking about what you might need here down the stretch?
We've talked here and there a little bit, not a lot. I think Ken and his staff are working right now, and if something out there that he thinks might help our team comes along, I'm sure he'll bring that to our staff. But right now, it's pretty quiet.
Is it a little different than normal trade deadlines, just because if you do get a guy from the United States, he's got to quarantine for a little bit? Is it just a different feel to it this year?
Yeah, there is. There's a totally different feel. The whole year has felt like that. So it's that's no different than the year. Everything is a little bit unusual, and you got to be prepared for whatever comes your way.